every generation, there are advances in performance that change the sport. The Fosbury flop is a famous change in high jumping where Dick Fosbury came along, jumped over the bar in a different way, and was able to push those standards really high. For us, we need to reject that kind of behavior and make sure that there is no Dick Fosbury. We really want to make sure climbing stays very difficult at 5'11", 5'10", and 5'9" for the average climber. That opens up a whole world of experiences on routes that are, in fact, just getting too easy for climbers these days. Over the past few years, we've seen a lot of research and advances in the way that we can learn about and execute climbing training. But for me personally, it's been important to return to the original things that I learned coming out of school and the original things we tried when we were first getting better at climbing, and bring those things back into the programming that we're putting forth to athletes of today. While some of us might see the Kilter board as a really great new tool to help move our performance forward, we see it as a form of cheating because Wolfgang Golich didn't have access to one of those boards. And if we use that board, we're not on the same level playing field that we would like to be with the greats of yesteryear. In fact, in a way, it's important to see Wolfgang Golich as a cheater as well, because he had a campus board and the people that came before him didn't have access to that training tool. So it gets so much simpler when it's just a pull-up bar or just a door jam edge, and you just bang your head against a few exercises all the time. And our athletes are embracing it wholeheartedly. Essentially, the Fundamentalist program was born out of a rejection of science. And when we talk about rejecting science, it's really about us knowing to do the things we were born to do. We know what is right inside our hearts, and we don't need a bunch of scientists telling us what to do. The basics of the program are to do fewer pitches per day because there just wasn't the route density at that time, to really stick to some basic exercises, and to do lots and lots of pulling. And part of that is going to be overdoing it on pull-ups, overdoing it on edge hangs, and probably resulting in some elbow pain. But with the understanding that having that elbow pain is part of the experience that those climbers had. And so it's important that we embrace tendonitis, tendinopathy, in order to have the same experience as the first ascensionist. One of the things that we share across the sport is a reverence for those simpler times. Backer and Kauk hanging out at Joshua Tree, Wolfgang Golich developing the Frankenjura. And I think that each of us, when we embrace our own place in the sport, we need to think how we ourselves can make climbing great again.
I'd rather just do something that makes sense to me, that is the way that my climbing heroes learn to train. And so Steve developed this fundamentalist plan, and it immediately clicked for me. There's no data, there's no measuring, there's no testing. There's basically only training to failure with primitive tools. Pull-ups to failure, curls to failure. And then I'm ready when I get on my project for failure. No, lower me right away.
The bottom line is that any technique work or any training is at its core a form of cheating, and we're trying to get away from cheating in the sport.
Steve caught me scrolling through Tyler Nelson's Instagram, and he was like, "Okay, this has gone too far. We need to go back to basics." Since that day, I feel like I've really demonstrated a respect for these traditional fundamentalist training values, and I feel like if Alan Watts showed up at the Crag, I'd be ready to be a good partner to him. I don't know, Charlie. I mean, I like climbing with you, but you got pre-hung draws. You put the rope up already with a stick clip. You got what is that, a calf warmer?
Yeah, it's a knee pad. It's like having it's like rubber on your heel, but on your knee. You're just like no rubber above the ankle.
When you fall, sometimes I see you stay up there, and you rehearse. I've seen you rehearsing routes. I do read your scorecard, and you didn't make a note that you started on a rock stack. You didn't make a note that you head pointed or ping pointed.
The future of hard climbing is about a poorly thought out and hypocritical attitude about where you put the sticky rubber on your body. I mean, one person might think, yeah, shoes, knee bars, hand jammies, whatever, but it's really important that we just stick to the shoes. All of the complex training and with all the chasing of higher and higher grades, moving into a zone of simplifying things, of taking a step back is going to really help most of us get the most out of this sport. Wouldn't it be better if you didn't have to do complex training, if easier grades were difficult for you, and if you could just go out there and train and climb the way that Backer did 50 years ago? You have to ask yourself, do I want to have the same experience that they had in the 1970s and 1980s? If the answer is yes, the Fundamentalist program is for you. Things are moving really fast in society these days. We've moved from these very basic technology tools that we had as kids to really advanced things, to AI, to kilter boards, to all of these tools that many of us have no idea how to use. And even though I think luddite is an ugly word, I think it is appropriate in these terms to say, yes, we're luddites and we're proud of the way we're training.
Hey babe, I did the route. Yeah, thanks. Yep, red pointing. Yeah, I was hanging the draws. Can you update my 8A scorecard, please, on the computer? Yeah. Yeah, and then in the comment section, can you write second go soft? Thanks. All right, love you. No, I don't want a new pair of shoes. I want the original rubber for the Fire model. What do you mean?
They're perfectly good shoes. Just need a little bit of work on the toe. Well, I'm sending them. I'll send them and I'll include a check.
I think luddite is an ugly word. And okay.